Hello again, everyone. It's Knowledge Collector, back with the first of what I hope to be quite a few videos in dealing with religion. Uh, Probably mainly stick to Christianity, that is the predominant religion that I've been exposed to, and the most common one that I know of in America. Bit of backstory about my own. I grew up in a most likely agnostic household. My mother never really claimed to be anything in particular. Instead, she just believed that there was something out there, and that if you were a good person, you got rewarded when you died, and if you were bad, same thing. My aunt is Mormon. I don't know if she was that my entire life or her entire life, but I do distinctly remember as a child, she had a collection of Mormon comics that she gave to me, which, even as a 7 and 8-year-old child, I couldn't fathom that this was correct in any form or fashion. That premise is actually the main topic for this video. This one will deal with simply the fact that if you're a believer, and a true believer, whether you've read the entire Bible or not, the parts of it that don't make any sense, and that you simply just kind of gloss over, that bothers me. You're taking a vital part of your brain, the part that goes, there's a problem here. The information you've given me doesn't make any sense. And if you're a religious person, you turn that part of your brain off. And worse than that is when people question you about it, you get offended, like they're in the wrong somehow. You know, you read in the Bible that Noah built an ark, somehow fit 7 of all the clean animals, 7 pairs rather, of all the clean animals onto this ark, and 2 pairs of all the unclean ones, along with enough room for him and his family, which apparently somehow were okay in God's eyes, even though the previous section had just got done declaring how bad humanity was in general. But there was only Noah who was good enough to live, but he somehow got a pass for his family. Regardless of that aspect, you have to acknowledge that even if you're talking about the local animals, that Noah was able to put them all into one boat, then they locked it up, and they stayed out there for over 150 days. And if you read the Bible, it says that there was one opening in the ark, and then Noah sealed that up too. And so the entire time that it rained, plus all the time that they were out there, they had no sun, they had no food, they had no extra sources of water, etc., etc., etc. If you are a believer, you are supposed to acknowledge that story and then go, yeah, this happened. And when someone goes, but how? The only reply you really have is, well, God did it. That bothers me. If for no other reason than the fact that the moment when mankind stops waking up in the morning and going, I wonder, is really at the point when we're going to stop expanding as a species. I have dogs, and my dog figured out that there was a dog he saw in the mirror, and even he could reason out that there was no actual dog in front of him. He might have understood what was going on, and he obviously didn't understand that it was his own reflection, as I believe only us and monkeys have actually experienced and are capable of that understanding. But even he was able to rationalize and work the process through that what I'm seeing in front of me isn't real. But if you're a person of faith, and at least blind faith, you don't question it. You just kind of go, yeah, makes sense. Why wouldn't this be the case? Because even I have faith. I mean, I have faith in the morning when I go out to my car that it's going to turn on. I have faith that when I get home, my house will still be there. But it's not blind faith. It's backed up by the fact of this actually occurring. You know, the moment I should go out to my car and it not start, well, then I would probably lose my faith that the next time I start my car, it's going to turn on. But religious people don't have that. And that bothers me. To such a massive degree. Take, for example, the fact that there's a large number of Christians who obviously have never actually read the Bible. And yet they just blindly go on with the idea that the things they're telling you are accurate. An excellent case in point is I went to work, and this was right around the time when Obama and Biden came out and started the whole process that, being that we should have a fair and equitable marriages for, gay people and straight people. And they were replaying that on the news when I got to work that day, and my boss was there, and he stated that obviously Obama was not a Christian, because real Christians would have problems with gay people. And I asked him why he thought that, and he quoted the famous line, in the Bible where it says that, a man should not lay with another man, it's an abomination. And so I asked him, I was like, so, do you eat shellfish? And he's like, well, yeah, I love shellfish. And I asked him, so do I have the right now to kill you? And he was taken back, because he did not honestly know, I believe it's about 3 or 4 lines further down on the same page, if I'm not mistaken, the same paragraph of the Bible, it states that. I believe it's right in that same area where it says that you're not supposed to mix different fibers in clothing, and I believe, I'm not 100% certain, I believe it's right in that same realm of where you're not supposed to place tattoos upon your body. Which that, as a side note, is always hilarious to me, because to the most religious people I know, well, one who now seems to be much less religious, but they both have Bible verses tattooed on them, which amuses me to no end. I really don't think you could be... To me, that's like on that level of like having a black guy join the Klan. The thing that you're joining or doing to yourself couldn't be farther from what your belief system says you're not supposed to be doing. So it boggles my mind that that's okay to them, and they're somehow, staying good with God. But no, the idea that as a society, or as a group, even as individuals, you can take that part of your brain that goes, this doesn't make any sense, and then just turn it off when needed. And granted, this is a classic argument that I'm sure you've heard in many other places, but if people honestly believed everything that they said they did, if I killed someone and went to court, and I sat there and went, God told me to do it, I should get a free pass. Especially if you believe that whole idea of God's plan. Which, God's plan is its own interesting idea of almost a paradox, because you're pairing up God's plan with free will, but you can't have both. At a time when I was married, I had kids, and I had plans for them. But I also knew they had free will. And the main difference between what I viewed as my plan and what religious people would say would be God's plan is if they didn't do my plan, there was no eternal consequences for it. Which, from what I've seen, talked to, and heard, if you don't do God's plan, there is quite the eternal consequence for it. I believe it's called hell. But if you truly have free will, you can't have an external plan that has to happen. And especially if you factor in that aspect that, you know, God is supposed to be all-knowing and all-powerful and etc., then you really don't have free will, because everything you do has already been predetermined by God being God. He already knows what you're going to do. In essence, he's like a more evil version of Santa Claus. You know, knows sleeping and awake, knows your actions before, after, and during, while you're doing them. So, you don't really have free will at that point. And any free will that you do have is equivalent to being a hamster in a maze, where you've predetermined that no matter what direction you turn or take, you're still going to get to the exit. So with knowing that, you don't really have any free will. Granted, you can go left or you can go right, but you can only go left or right for so long until you hit a wall, which either forces you to go to straight or to turn back. You don't really have any free will. You have a finite amount of will that is limited in fashion of freeness. Because I can choose to go left, but in the end, I'm still going to go to the singular exit which has been placed in front of me, thereby removing my free will of if I want to go another direction. So, the fact that people can take what I consider to be one of the most important parts of their minds and simply turn them off, and then shrug as if it doesn't matter. It bothers me on so many levels. So, that is my, in essence, intro video to my religion series here. I'll mainly stick with Christianity, like I said. Although I do quite know a good chunk about Wicca and whatnot. I actually used to believe in Wicca. It fell right along the lines with everything that I believed in at the time. But even with Wicca, which has far, far fewer things that kind of make your brain go, I don't know, there were still enough there where I couldn't turn off that part of my brain that went, yeah, this doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, honestly, and I've heard it from, it's another YouTube user, and he has his own podcast and everything. It's called The Thinking Atheist. Highly, highly recommend checking it out. He actually says that the easiest way to become an atheist is to read the Bible. And read it, cover to cover. You know, and remove that viewpoint of where, you know, you take it in context. You know, oh, well, it was that period of time. You know, it was this problem, that problem, etc. No, read what it was written. Because the first question you have to ask with a religion is, does the book that you believe in, is it true and accurate? And if the question is yes, then context really shouldn't have all that much to matter with it. It's the teachings of your views. You know, my science book gets updated. I recall, you know, going through 12 years of regular school, and now I have a college degree. 2, actually. But I would get updated books, you know, of 9th, 10th, 12th editions, etc. And whenever new information came out, they'd update it. Religions don't seem to be that big on updating. Mainly because I don't think there's anything to update. But, like I said, this will be the intro to my religion series. I'm also going to throw down some other videos and ideas and whatnot throughout. By all means, please give me some comments, questions, anger, whatever. I'll gladly respond to pretty much anything. So, you guys have an excellent day. And by all means, think. It's pretty much what your brain is there for. Won't hurt at all. Alright, this is Knowledge Collector. See you later.